Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Wednesday, December 6, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with last night's NXT broadcast live on USA Network from the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. The final segment of the show featured an in-ring face-off between NXT champion Ilya Dragunov and his challenger for Saturday's Deadline Premium Live event, Baron Corbin. During the segment, Corbin tried to goad Dragunov into attacking him, but the champion refused to take the bait.
Saturday, Ilya, I take your only reason to be here. But that's right, buddy. You're a coward. You'll find a way to stay.
The only one who can destroy the dragon is the dragon himself!
Booker, it was Corbin who said he had Ilya where he wanted him. But it appears to be the other way around.
The segment concluded with a brawl involving all of the qualifiers for the Men's Iron Survivor Challenge match, also set for Deadline. In the last two Iron Survivor qualifying matches, Fallon Henley qualified for the women's match by winning a fatal four-way against Thea Hale, Roxanne Perez, and Kiana James, and Tyler Bate qualified for the men's match with a fatal four-way win over Joe Coffey, Eddie Thorpe, and Carmelo Hayes.
Big strong boys flying.
You missed the
Tyler Driver 97. Tyler Driver 97. Got it.
That could be it.
Into the cover. Bates headed to Bridgeport.
Here is your winner, Tyler Bates.
How good must that feel for Bates?
Wes Lee announced during the show that due to injury, he'd be unable to face NXT North American champion Dominic Mysterio at Deadline. It was instead announced that Wes Lee would be replaced by Dragon Lee and that Rey Mysterio would be in Dragon Lee's corner. Dragon Lee attacked Dominic following the announcement. In other results, Alpha Academy and Akira Tozawa beat Metaphor and Jakara Jackson in a mixed six-person match. Lola Vice pinned Tatum Paxley, and Nikita Lyons made her return to NXT with a blindside attack on Blair Davenport. In WWE news, the company is officially pulling the plug on its home video business. According to an official announcement yesterday from WWE Home Video UK, WWE is completely withdrawing from the home video market, and no licensing deal with European distributor Fremantle will be renewed after 2023. According to WrestlingDVDNetwork.com, the final domestic WWE home video release is set to be WWE Survivor Series War Games 2023, scheduled for release on December 26th. The last European release will be Crown Jewel, out on December 18th in the UK and December 22nd in Germany. WWE has been in the home video market since 1985, beginning with the first VHS release through independent production company Coliseum Home Video, wrestling's biggest, smallest, strangest, strongest. The WWF home video division came into being in 1997 when the company brought its home video production and distribution completely in-house. The company had initially announced the closing of the home video division in 2021, but opted to continue production at that time. Although home video sales in the United States and Canada had significantly declined in the wake of streaming, the European market remained strong enough to sustain production for 2 more years. TKO President Mark Shapiro discussed another possibly endangered division of WWE's business, seeming to suggest that the company is looking into reducing the number of house shows it presents. Speaking at the UBS Global Media and Communications Conference, Shapiro questioned the profitability of house shows, stating, quote, "There is a reason to have them because it's good for the brand. We're building the audience, we're putting them on C&D counties, so we're really stretching the brand and amassing a greater array of eyeballs for all demos. It's good for our long-term growth. For a margin perspective, they are dilutive. They are probably opportunities as we go through our efficiencies and synergies to cut back those non-televised events, which will of course push our margin up. We're going through that exercise now," end quote. And finally, in ratings news, Monday Night Raw this week lost nearly 20% of its audience from last week's CM Punk return episode, according to WrestleNomics. The show brought in 1.533 million viewers to the USA Network, down from last week's 1.884 million viewers. The rating in the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic was 0.49, down about 30% from the previous week's 0.64 key demo rating. AEW Collision last Saturday drew its largest audience in 2 months, with 451,000 viewers tuning into TNT, up from the previous week's 317,000 viewers, according to WrestleNomics. The rating in the key demo was a 0.14, up from the previous week's 0.09. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.